My name is Gavin Evans, and this is my review of Arcane Season 1, and this will be a spoiler-free review. So, I didn't know much about this show. All I knew is that it was based on some game called League of Legends, and I looked into the game, it looked really stupid. I had zero interest in this show. Zip, zilch, nada. I didn't care about it whatsoever. But then reviews started coming out for it, and everybody's like, oh, this show is incredible, it's great, it's one of the best shows ever. And I didn't really take that into consideration because everyone says every show is great now to the point where it holds zero weight to me at all. And then I was going to IMDb, and I see that this show is already rated the 15th best show of all time on it. And I was just like, give me a break, it just came out. Like, it's clearly a bunch of fans of the game just giving it a high rating. Like, that's what I thought. Two of my brothers watched it, and they're like, it's actually really good. So I'm just like, fine, I'll add it to the schedule. I don't really want to watch it, but let's just watch it. And I have to say, I have never been more surprised by anything in my life. This show is an absolute masterpiece. I am blown away by it. I watched it for the first time a few days ago, and I've slept on it, I've given it lots of thought, and this is my favorite season of television of all time. And it's so funny too, because I was just telling one of my brothers that Breaking Bad is the best show ever, and I don't think anything is ever going to top it. And yeah, like, I know this is only season 1, but as of now, it tops it. I'm completely blown away. Like, to really understand how much I love this show, was in less than a week, I've already watched it 3 times. And I'm about to start it for the 4th time. I haven't watched any show 3 times before. I love The Office so very much, I've watched it twice. I love Seinfeld a lot, I've watched it twice. I love Breaking Bad, I've watched it once. And I'm already on my 3rd viewing of this show, about to be my 4th. I am completely obsessed with it. I love it. I think this is everything that storytelling should be. In my review, I'm not going to talk about anything specific at all. Even the choice of poster I'm using here is to hide some details from you, because the truth is, I knew nothing about this show going into it, and I want other people to have the same experience I did, so I'm going to try to hide it the best I can. So yes, I will be using a specific name instead of another name, because I want other people to have the impact I did, because if other people get this, what I got of this show, then I'll be very happy indeed. I don't even know where to begin, but I guess we'll begin with the animation. The animation to this show is absolutely incredible. It's beautiful, and it's unlike anything else I've seen. Like, this is visual storytelling at its absolute best. So much is being told through the visuals alone. And the actual look and design of everything is just incredible. Like, this show doesn't try to do realistic animation, it tries to do stylistic animation, and I think that really worked to its benefit. What they were able to pull off is just incredible, and I just thought that the way they brought these characters to life visually really worked for me. I also love how they use the animation to capture certain people's mindsets. Those moments where people might be feeling a little paranoid or a little stressed out, and the way they're able to capture that, it just allows you to understand how that character is feeling. It's very immersive. And even those times where someone is fighting someone and you get flashbacks between certain punches or dodges, whatever, and it just shows you what fuels these characters, what motivates them. And the way it's handled here is so smooth, and it has a lot of weight behind it. They also do some incredible stuff that I haven't seen done before, playing around with perspective and just playing around with time. There's one moment where we see one moment again and again and again. And the way they go about it, oh my god, like, they did not hold back. It just, what they were able to do with the animation, that sequence, is just absolutely incredible. It just really allows it to stand out. There's so many interesting things are being done. Like, there's one scene where there was these 2 people going down a tunnel, but it looks like the chamber of a gun, and then it transitions to this guy putting a bullet in his gun, and just the way it looks, Oh, it's stunning. Sometimes there's someone who's climbing up onto something and it's very blurry for a few seconds and then it focuses up. I just thought that was incredible. The music in the show is also incredible. The score by Alex Sevo and Alexander Temple is great. Hey, two Alexes, what are the odds? But there are definitely moments where the score stands out. But my favorite aspect of the music in this show is the actual soundtrack. Now I was watching some behind the scenes stuff and the people behind the show were saying that they made this show with the soundtrack in mind. And you can just tell. Like the moments where the soundtrack comes into play, it has like a music video like quality. And what they do with it is just so unique and unlike anything else, and it draws you in. The use of it throughout is just so well thought out. Like, hey, the use of it throughout is so well thought out. I didn't even mean to do that. That's great. But the actual emotion and atmosphere that comes from the soundtrack is absolutely incredible. It's also used as a way to give you insight into people's minds or insight into how the world is now. And just the use of it throughout is absolutely masterful. I think every single song is fantastic. I've been listening to the soundtrack on repeat non-stop. It's a fantastic soundtrack. Like, honestly, one of the best original soundtracks of a movie, show, video game ever. Like, it's that good. And anytime a song pops up, you just know you're going to be in for a very unique sequence. And that is true all the way to the end. It adds tone, emotion, excitement whenever it's present. Like, there's a few moments that really stand out to me. There's one scene at the end of episode 2 where the song All Love plays. And what's happening is sad, but the song has this upbeat, happy mood to it. And just the contrast between the two is absolutely masterful. You also got this song called Guns for Hire. And the sequence that it plays in, it just has this grand, epic feel because of the soundtrack. And then you also got this other song called Dirty Little Animals, which is just used to highlight how the world is evolving and changing. And then you've also got two other songs called Goodbye and What Could Have Been, which are in two very different scenes, two incredible scenes. And just these two songs bring so much emotion and atmosphere to those moments, to the point where it kind of lingers, like it has this haunting presence to it. And like the combination of the visuals and the music is just unlike anything else I've experienced. I love the atmosphere to this show. I just found it to be intoxicating and I just really love it. But all that stuff doesn't matter if you don't got yourself a good story and good characters. And does this show deliver on that? Absolutely. It gave me probably my second favorite character ever in Powder. Powder, oh my goodness, I just love her as a character. Everything that she goes through here is just incredible, heartbreaking stuff. Like, there's a real tragic story at the core of it all. Just the way that character is written and how she develops throughout is absolutely brilliant. Like, you always understand her. Like, you always understand where her mind's at. And you just really start to care for her. And the writing behind her is just absolutely brilliant. Like, Powder is just an amazing character. But you also got V, who's also another great character. She's a complete badass. She takes no shit from anyone. She stands up for those she cares about. She's a very easy character to like. She's also grounded in pure emotion, and the relationship between her and Powder, the sister relationship between the two of them, just served as an excellent emotional core to this story, and I really did care for the two sisters. I really did. I've actually got quite a few more characters that I want to mention. Starting off with Milo. Milo I thought was a really great character. He's well defined. I like Clago. I thought he was a really good character. I like Jace. Now, at first, I wasn't too sure what to think of Jace. Like, is he going to be the boring character? But as the story progresses, I did start to like him more and more. And what he goes through and what he learns throughout, I did find the writing behind him to be quite excellent. And I did start to care for him more as the story evolves. And I also really cared for another character named Victor. I thought he was another excellent character. And the friendship between the two of them is really well developed as well. You also got the character Mel, who I thought was great. Caitlin's great. Savika's a complete badass. You also got the character Marcus, who could have come across as such a cliche character, but he's actually given lots of depth. I thought Echo was a really great character. There was a doctor character who's really great. There was another character named Benzo, who I liked his presence in the show. You also got Vander, who I thought was fully developed. He was a fantastic character. You got Modorda, who I thought was a really good character. You've got another character named Hack, who's only in like 2 scenes, but you still understand him. He's just that well written in only 2 scenes. But my second favorite character is Silco. When Silco is first introduced, I'm just like, okay, so this is going to be a generic villain. And as the show progresses and he develops throughout, I was blown away by what they were able to do with him. Like, I was completely shocked at how emotionally invested I was in this character by the end. The writing behind him is filled with depth and nuance, and just everything regarding him was absolutely brilliant. Heimerdinger is also a great character. I listed off a lot of characters, and that's because every single character is fully developed. Everyone's treated with the most love and care towards them. And it shows. I didn't hate a single character. Not a single one. Even the villains, I didn't hate. Because the show just showcases perspective so perfectly. Like, it's some of the strongest character writing I've ever experienced. And just some of these arcs and how they interconnect with other characters is just some top-notch writing that I absolutely adore. And I love how this story is character-centric. The characters come first. And the story is a result of these characters. It shows that actions have consequences throughout. And the multiple stories that take place, I just all found them to be engaging. I also loved the world building. Just everything felt so well developed and well established. You had a clear understanding of each and every character, this world, and how it operates. And it just allows it to feel rich. It feels lived in. And I love how the story explores ideas of role and class and the human condition. It just explores those ideas in fascinating ways. There's also a very interesting moral dilemma where you have to question the advancement of technology and should we do it? And the way the story explores that idea, I just found to be very fascinating on a cerebral level. Like, I really did love its exploration of it. But I think most importantly, this is a story about the people we love and how they shape us into the person we eventually become. And just the way that you see that explored through all these different characters. And this show is just emotionally charged. Like, from beginning to end, you feel the weight behind everything. Especially on a rewatch, knowing the different directions each character takes. There is so much emotion here. And it's tragic. And the show broke my heart time and time again. Like, this is some of the most emotional storytelling I've ever experienced. And it just hit me in a way that I wasn't expecting. And another interesting thing about this show is that if you stop and think about it, you could argue that this is all set up for season 2. But it never feels like it. Because their priority isn't in the bigger, grander story, it's in the characters. And just the writing behind this show from beginning to end is top notch. Like, this show uses show don't tell consistently throughout. There's so many small details that I just love. You can just tell how much thought and love went into this show. And it's apparent in every single shot. Also, I didn't mention the voice cast. Everybody is incredible. If I was to mention every single name, I'd be here for another 10 minutes. So I'll mention the 3 standouts. First, you got Haley Steinfeld, who I thought was fantastic as V. She plays this character perfectly. It didn't sound like her at all, so whatever she was doing here really worked. Like, I did not hear Haley Steinfeld's voice. I heard V. So great job to her. You also got Mia Sinclair, who voices Powder, and I thought she was absolutely incredible in this show. There's one moment in particular where her performance is just breathtaking, like, just incredible stuff. And then you've also got another voice actress by the name of Ella Purnell, and she is the standout. I absolutely love what she does with her character. I think she is so fantastic in this show. Honestly, my favorite voice performance of all time is Ashley Johnson in Last of Us Part 2, but this is probably number 2. Like, what she brings to her character, it's incredible. Like, I could go on and on about it. But I really do think she does an incredible job. Her character is hilarious, scary as hell, but also tragic. Like those moments where she's making a joke and you can just feel the pain in her voice. And it just caught me by surprise in so many different moments. Like, what could have came across as just like a typical comedic moment actually has weight behind it because of her performance. It's just some of the best voice acting I've ever heard in my life. The show is also really funny in moments. I did laugh quite a few times, and the show also has some amazing action. It's not as heavy on the action as you might think. Like, there's definitely action present, but not as much as you think, like I already said. But when the action does go down, it's very pleasing on a aesthetic level. Like, visually, it's just incredible. There are some shots that I'm just completely obsessed with that just blow my mind. And there's moments where they definitely focus on style over choreography, but I think that actually makes those scenes better. It allows those scenes to stand out. I also want to say this show is so perfectly paced. In a day and age where every show is way too freaking long, this show is exactly the length it needed to be. Each episode was 40 minutes. That was perfect. They flew by. Whenever an episode ended, I'm like, already? Which was just such a refreshing change of pace. I also want to say that I love the fact that this show doesn't rely on exposition. It could have many times, but no. The writing is stronger than that. What else can I mention about this show? Okay, it feels weird saying this, but the actual filmmaking, which is weird because this isn't a film, it's a TV show, but the actual TV making behind it is just top notch. Like, there's moments where the visuals, the writing, and the music just all come together and just fill you with emotion. The way it just takes your breath away, it is some incredible stuff. Like, just phenomenally made show in every direction. Like, I cannot wait for season 2. Like, this show took 6 years to make, and it shows. Like, but I can't wait 6 years for season 2. Like, I want season 2 to be the best show possible, but also please don't come out in 6 years. Like, I'd rather come out in 6 years and have it be amazing than have it come out next year and have it be bad. But boy, like, I can't wait. I'm beyond pumped. This show is just absolutely incredible. The more I think about it, the more I love it. Just how it handles each and every character and the story at play is just some of the best writing I've ever experienced. It's filled with depth and nuance. It captures raw emotion in a way that I've never experienced. It's something unlike anything else. Visually, it's incredible. The soundtrack is breathtaking. The action is great. Just everything about this show is on a whole other level. I'm so happy it exists. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Like, I love it. Like, this is some of the greatest art to be ever made. I always say that Last of Us Part 2 is the greatest story I've ever experienced, and it's not even close. Like, all my other favorite movies and shows and games are here, and Last of Us Part 2 is here. Arcane doesn't quite hit it, but it's a lot closer than I would have ever expected. I can't recommend the show enough. It's an absolute masterpiece. I was blown away with it, and yeah, I'm just repeating myself, but it's so nice to love a show this much. It really is. I've watched a lot of bad shows recently, and this show, it was just, oh my goodness, it was so freaking good. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna go ahead and give Arcane Season 1 a 10 out of 10. Okay, I will be doing a spoiler-filled review where I will be talking about it more in depth so I can talk about certain characters that I really want to talk about. So please stay tuned and watch that because it is going to be a long video. But what did you think of Arcane Season 1? Were you as surprised as I was? Let me know in the comments down below. Make sure you like, make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe. Stay tuned for some more videos soon. And Gavin,